Destiny, aka Stephen Bennell, risks felony charges and major consequences in an ongoing civil case in regards to an interaction he had with a witness, a potential future witness in Texas. We're going to get on that today on The Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney, and this is the fast facts version, the quick and dirty version of the latest in legal news. If you like this version, make sure to let me know in the comments below and let me know what you think about the topic. So, of course, you guys are familiar with the legal saga if you've been paying attention in a wake of Destiny. And now he's risking not just one felony, but multiple consequences from this interaction.
This is my best friend, Lauren De Laguna. How you doing?
You came to Texas to bother me.
I literally am gang stalking her right now. I am gang stalking this wonderful lady.
I work here.
You work here?
I work here.
Do you have anything you would like to say to the audience?
Yeah, you're free. You're fucking weird.
Okay, cool. Anything else?
Yeah,
Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for stalking me. You're a one-man, this is a one-man gang stalker army right now, okay? So thanks for hanging out.
And you just keep making as to why I need to be deposed.
Yeah. Really? Are we recording each other now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. How are you doing? How's life in Texas?
I'm gonna go to my mom.
Okay, be careful. Say bye. I'll see you around.
Why? Why are you following me?
Because I'm bored and I gang stalk in real life.
You're fucking free. You're a pedophile.
Yeah?
You're sad. You live sad.
Pedophile too.
You
Yeah?
are a pedophile.
True.
I mean, Rose.
True. Queen. Stay safe. Be careful.
Of course, we've got the characters here today. Destiny, and once again, in his beautiful Attack on Titan form here. And then we've got Miss Lauren De Laguna, who is a lawyer with Hayden Law. She's in good standing with the Florida Department of State. That's her business. And she works remotely in Texas, right? So as an attorney, this is something that people need to understand. If you're practiced, let's say you're licensed in Florida, like myself, like Lauren, you can go and work, you can physically be somewhere else, particularly if you're doing a lot of work that's online or it's corporate, transactional work, IP work. A lot of that stuff can be done remotely and can be done living in another state. So Lauren lives in another state. She lives in Texas. Now, the important thing to point out here for Miss De Laguna is that she is a potential witness in the case with Pixie in Florida. So when this happened just in November in Austin, Texas, and this is a grainy version, the quality wasn't very good on the phone here, but with this, you see clearly here, Mr. Stephen Bennell, this is Destiny, and you see Lauren De Laguna there. She's confirmed this was her. This interaction happened, and this encounter happened in Austin, Texas. Now, if you don't know, and a very important factor here is that Lauren lives in Texas, right? So, and Destiny lives in Florida. So this encounter happened at a place in which Destiny does not normally live or reside. He's normally not hanging out in Texas, right? And Lauren actually works nearby where this location was happening, where this interaction was happening. Now, we're going to get into this when we get into the defenses, but obviously this looks really, really bad on its face. When you watch the video and you go through it, it looks like Destiny is stalking her, is encountering her. Now, Destiny's supporters and Destiny's defense is, no, she encountered him. She came up to him. Of course, at this point, that's a he said, she said, based on just that particular double statement. Obviously, Destiny saying she approached, him saying he approached. But what we do have in this encounter is an extended encounter in which Destiny continues to record. He does not disengage from this. He uses the, sarcastically, he says, I'm gang stalking you. I'm gang stalking you, in a tone that he's going to say is sarcastic or being sarcastic. But at the root of this, Destiny has a massive online community. And at a certain point, when you engage with someone and you have a massive community and you're saying, hey, look, this is a witness that is against me. I'm now telling you and showing you visibly where they are. I'm giving you video evidence of where they are. You can look around. All the people on the internet, the Tylenol Americans, can go look at the background and figure out, okay, this is the general area. And that opens up Lauren, who doesn't have a large community, and she doesn't have people that are fervently after them, to stalk her, to harass her, etc. So it's a huge potential issue. So Lauren De Laguna is a subpoena witness in Destiny's existing revenge, we'll call it a prawn case, right? I like prawns, but not revenge prawn. So this is the case with Pixie, obviously, and Destiny is very aware of the fact that Lauren De Laguna is a witness. He is not unaware of that. So that awareness goes deep into okay, is this potentially criminal? Because we're going to need to form intent. And part of that intent there is, hey, do you know this person's a witness? Destiny is in full knowledge of who Lauren is. He's very, very familiar with them. They had an interpersonal relationship, right? And once again, this isn't about their past history or their romantic history. This is about the law. And the law says, hey, once somebody is a witness, you cannot treat them like you would treat anybody else. You can't just treat them like a random McDonald's worker on the street who's not subpoenaed. The rights and the responsibilities are different. So the most important thing here, and what I think is really turn this into a topic I would cover and not just something that was a he said, she said, is Lauren has filed a police report. Texas does not mess around when it comes to following up on police reports. And even this police report may trigger the DOJ, the federal investigators on this, because this case is at a federal level with Pixie, and the ramifications are interstate, right? They cross over into Florida. So this gives federal jurisdiction clearly to investigate this. And there are legal consequences if Lauren was to lie. I often don't cover things until there's a police report, because a lot of times, if you just put up some Google Doc on the internet, anybody can do that. Anybody can just make a photo or, maybe doctor evidence or do whatever else without filing that police report. But once you file that police report, there is something that can be held against you. And for all of those who may not know, I know a lot of you remember him. Let's just remind you of Juicy Smooth, Jussie Smollett over here, who suffered consequences for a false police report claiming he was beat up by MAGA. Funny enough, there was actually an incident recently about a woman who faked a attack just now in Trump's second term, cutting herself, having a fetish artist, I believe, cut her up with razors and pretend she was attacked. These sorts of things, when you file a police report, when you fake it like Smollett faked it, you can face real consequences, and you should. We should not have people and incentivize them to be filing fake police reports. So to the extent Lauren De Laguna lies on her police report, she now has consequences. So I have to take it with a level of seriousness that is more than just an empty online accusation. This isn't just somebody angry tweeting. This is somebody that's actually gone through and followed up on what they said. So let's talk about the legal consequences for Destiny here if he was found to be engaging in this, because once again, as a party in a lawsuit, you have different responsibilities to the witnesses. You are not just like a random person on the street. So the first thing, and we'll talk about the federal crimes, the state crimes, and the civil kind of consequences for his ongoing case. And there's a lot here, guys. So if you see 18 USC section 1512, we've got all of these crimes under various subsections. The first is intimidation and corrupt persuasion. So knowingly, and once again, he knew she's a witness, right? Intimidating, threatening, or persuading a witness, or attempting to influence testimony. So here's the thing. Was the behavior he was engaging in by Destiny going up, approaching her, or whether he was approached, whatever, but by filming that, by engaging in this, by talking about gang stalking, by publishing this to his very activist community, a community that we have all the evidence for, the online community is a clear testament to the fact that they will go out and do things on Destiny's behalf. They'll do things online. They'll harass you online. And some people are unhinged enough in Destiny's community to actually go out there in person. In fact, we have some evidence that people were planning to harass Lauren in person, not just Destiny, but part of the community, part of the DGG, Destiny's community. So that actually is a material factor here. And then you've got, what's the punishment for that? Well, the punishment for intimidation under the federal statute is a unlimited fine, so the judge can fine them as much as they want, and then up to 20 years in prison. So that is a serious felony level offense. Then you've got corrupt tampering with evidence. So altering, destroying, or concealing evidence or preventing its production. So to the extent that this might be trying to cause Lauren to destroy, conceal, or cover something up that might be trying to influence her, could be under that, once again, a fine and up to 20 years, and harassment. So even if there was no intent, this is the one I want to really throw out here, because you don't need intent on this. Now, this would be a misdemeanor. It wouldn't be a felony, but even if there's no intent, he could get harassment. He could be caught with harassing a witness, even without intent, for a fine and up to 1 year in prison. So he's risking real prison time, real time behind bars here at a federal level, because once again, this case going on in Florida, this action happened in Texas, you've got interstate there, you've got federal statutes coming in, all of this is going to apply. Then you've got the state crimes in Texas, once again, not a lenient criminal state, Texas, not one you want to go and commit a bunch of crimes in. You've got tampering with a witness, which is section 3605 of the Texas Code. coercing or intimidating a witness or prospective witness with the intent to influence. So once again, you do have to have some intent to influence them, but looking at what is the possible outcome of coming up, of filming her, showing where she works, yeah, that could be a thing. Now, there's various classifications here. It could be anywhere between 2 years to 10 years in prison as a felony and up to a $10,000 fine, $10,000 fine. Then you've got harassment. So communicating in a manner intended to harass, annoy, or alarm. So publishing a video has been intended as communicating. So publishing a video in a manner intended to harass, annoy, or alarm, that can be a misdemeanor or a felony. It depends on how they escalate it. And there's 2 years maximum on that if it goes up to the felony level. So once again, state level, not looking good either. Now, there's more time up to 20 years on the federal level, but the state is not looking bad either. There's also consequences in his ongoing civil trial. So in the trial with Pixie, the judge himself can come down and do these things. First of all, sanctions and penalties. I'll get into that on the next page because they're kind of detailed. The next one is introduction as evidence of a pattern of intent. So what this could look at is the judge could say in the Pixie case, this shows that Destiny has a pattern of bad behavior, of intentional behavior here to influence people in a negative way and introduce that to a jury. And that could be fully permissible as a pattern of behavior, saying this is something that he does. He does this as a pattern, right? Once again, I've talked about this. Destiny exhibits many narcissistic traits and saying, hey, this is part of this pattern of kind of narcissistic abuse that he kind of exacts on people. And he'll go in and he'll delete messages. He'll do whatever to make himself look better or delete evidence of his, kind of love bombing and gaslighting, and then come in and look like he's innocent, look like he's done nothing wrong. Beyond that, and I've talked about this with the Emaru case, with Miskiff, is IIED, intentional infliction of emotional distress, a very strong civil claim, and invasion of privacy. These are things that Lauren De Laguna could bring in, and she could bring those in, even on that case or on a separate case, and say, hey, listen, you are invading my privacy and you're causing emotional distress. And I think that's something that is potentially feasible under the law. Let's talk about some of the sanctions. These are real fun. So the federal court has really broad authority, super broad authority under Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 11 for frivolous conduct, Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 37 for discovery abuses, and its inherent powers, the inherent powers of the court, the power to sanction parties for misconduct. So they can issue monetary penalties, which could be payable to the court or to Ms. De Laguna. Also, they could say adverse inferences. So saying, once again, they can assume Destiny's bad intent through his pattern of behavior, etc. They can give the jury an adverse instruction because of this bad behavior by Destiny. They can also strike his defenses. Now, this is very extreme, but Destiny has some counterclaims. And they could say, you know what, Destiny, you have behaved so badly. You are so bad that we're just going to remove those. Now, that's extreme. I don't think they're going to go there yet, but it's possible, ladies and gentlemen. You also have contempt of court. We've talked a lot about that. That's a broad power they can exercise. Elevated punitive damages. So let's say Pixie was to win, they could issue harsher punitives because punitive damages are meant to stop harm to others. And the judge could look at that and say, hey, look, listen, if this isn't stopped with Pixie, other people are going to be suffering this thing under Destiny as well. He's going to go out and repeat this pattern of behavior. He's going to go out and do this again to other women, to other people. Once again, women and men, I don't think Destiny makes much of a difference there with either one of them. So other men and women are going to be hurt by this when he engages in romantic and or deviant relationships with them. Also, there could be a permanent no contact order issued for Ms. De Laguna that she could obtain from the court. There could also be a mandate to delete all related content. So saying, hey, Destiny, you've got to delete that video. You've got to go in there and delete that because that is harassment and that is leading your community even to harass. I believe the damage is already done nowadays because things just go up so quickly. But I think it would be a step to show the court does not approve of what he does and make him actually come back and behave. Because listen, if there's anything with Destiny, he's not going to listen to people on the internet. He's not going to listen to people that are trying to advise them, even give him good advice. The only thing Destiny's going to listen to is the cold, hard consequences of the law. So let's talk about his defenses. The she approached me defense. He claims, of course, self-protection. The recording was in self-protection. The presumptions are against Destiny here, though, because let's even take that at face value and say that she did approach him. First of all, you're not a Texas resident. What were you doing there in the first place? Maybe, let's put it out this way. He was walking around in that area and she approached him, but did he happen to just stumble upon the place where she works, where her workplace is? Was that just really random coinky dink that he just ended up in a place where she works? That's questionable. There's also a large activist community, which, as I've mentioned, is against Miss De Laguna, does not like her, and they've been known to go out and do unhinged things, right? They might be trying to swat her, they might be trying to chase her, stalk her, who knows, with some unhinged people in the DGG. The other argument, and this is one I heard, was it's a street, bro, it's a street. Yes, if you're just two random people on the street and you happen to run into somebody on the street, yes, that is just a street encounter, and as long as you move on, right, you move on quickly, there isn't necessarily a problem there. Here's the issue. This is a witness. Witness can't be harassed anywhere. It doesn't make it okay to harass a witness in the street. It doesn't matter if you're in McDonald's. It doesn't matter if you're on your car. It doesn't matter where you are. You can't, there's no exception. The law doesn't say you can harass a witness. You can't harass a witness unless it's on the street, right? No, you can't harass them anywhere. Period. So that it's a street bro doesn't really work. Also, the engagement was extended beyond necessary. He did not need to stay in that and stay on that as long as possible. If he wanted to record it for his own safety, he could have recorded it and walked away and not talked about references of gang stalking and not made her reference that she works around there, not pushed her, right, and made that accusation that she is the stalker and therefore she responded, she works there. He kind of baited that out of her. Therefore, now the whole community knows that and can come harass her. So I think that burden is there. Also, saying Lauren is lying and calling her a liar, well, she filed a police report. Did Destiny file a police report? No, he did not. So once again, I tend to believe the person with legal consequences behind them, not the person who has nothing on their side to prove it because they haven't actually filed a police report. If Destiny is really serious that it was Lauren who came up and harassed him, file a police report in Texas, Destiny, because then you should be the one filing the police report, right? That's her harassing you. That's her stalking you. Go file the police report. Well, he hasn't done that. So therefore, the presumption remains in Lauren's favor. So in conclusion, Destiny is just continuing to dig himself deeper in this case. You know, Pixie's attorneys aren't the best. I would say my assessment is they're kind of weak in terms of their power. Of course, once again, she's not got unlimited money. A lot of them are doing the work for discount or pro bono, I believe. But Destiny is already in trouble. He's already got the issue with what's on his computer and that stuff that came up. And this is only adding to it. Adding on with this public incident was not necessary for Destiny. But as I've said before, he just can't help himself. And Destiny, based on this incident, at a minimum, will be investigated. Probably by the DOJ, the feds, likely, very likely, the Texas is going to go hard on him, even harder than the DOJ. But we'll see. They both might go very hard on him. But he's going to be investigated for these multitude of potential crimes. Guys, what do you think about this? What do you think is going to happen with Destiny in this case? I will catch you on the next one.